In order to check the cam lean on your Ravin crossbow, and this would probably work for some other crossbows as well, all you're going to need is a straight arrow. So you can check it on your arrow spinner, or you can just spin it in your hand, so that cam's kind of representing my hand right now. Make sure that's straight. After that, it makes it a little bit easier if you take the tip off, so you don't have as much weight sticking out in front of your arrow. So your crossbow will have to be uncocked, and your sled will have to be not connected to the string in order to do this. So we're going to check the cam lean on the right cam first. So we'll show you that side. What you're going to do is put your arrow through there. Make sure it reaches a little bit past this cam on the left. But over here, right in the middle, right about here, is where you're going to hold this arrow. You're going to hold it flush up against the bottom of this right-hand cam. Then you're going to look over at this left side cam, and you're going to see if there's any space there between your arrow and your cam. And this one has a very, let me see here. This one has, if you can see it there, a tiny bit of space. So that cam is not perfect, but it's very close. And I'll show you the adjustments later. You can't get it any closer than that by adjusting the cables. So your right one's good to go. Now we're just gonna do the same thing on the left one. And what you're looking for is one that's like kind of way out of whack. Like if you have we had maybe a 16th or a 32nd gap there. If you end up having like a 1/4 inch gap, then you can make adjustments. Now this one, as I hold it on my left-hand side, tight up against that cam, this one is touching. So what I have to do is I have to swing it out and bring it in and figure out how much that arrow is dropping once it touches. And it's probably about the same amount, just the other way. So this one, this cam is tilting slightly this way a little bit too much. The other one's tilting slightly this way a little bit too much, but it's very minor. And those amounts that I just showed you, those little spaces that we had between our arrow, the one side, you know, we had this little tiny gap, and the other side it was up above slightly. You cannot, by adjusting the cables, you cannot get it any better than that. If you adjust the cables, it's going to get worse. So I will show you how to adjust the cables now. So let's pretend that when I put this in here and I hold this up, let's pretend that our left side looks like this. So that means that this cam here is tilting down this way too much. So if you can see, we have our two cables here. There's one here and there's, one here. So if this is tilting like this too much, we need to make this cable shorter. What you would do, right where it hooks on here, you would add half of a twist to this cable. And in the description, there are the limits of the number of twists you'd want to put on cables and strings on a new set of cables and strings. So what you'd do is you would shorten that. That would take this problem of this cam leaning like this too much, and it's going to bring it up some. And you're only going to go in 1/2 inch twist increments. And what you also would want to do if you really want to be, safe about your crossbow, is take your cables, get a piece of paper or in an email or somewhere, number your cables, like not on the crossbow, but just, write down a system. So call it like cable 1, cable 2, cable 3, and cable 4. And the reason why I'm suggesting that is because the limits that are listed in the description for your cables and strings on how many twists you want to put in them, that's for your strings and cables from when they're new. If somebody else has already adjusted your strings and cables, they might already have the maximum number of twists in them. But if you have a set new and you've only twisted your, cable 1 1 twist and cable 2 half a twist, and you keep track of that, then you're going to know what your limits are for any future times that you need to make adjustments. Please let me know if you have any questions.